Hi everyone, this is Kills from 99 Gaming, and this is The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 1 live fan reactions. I just want to say what's up to each and every one of you. Hopefully we are coming through loud and clear. Just want to give a forewarning. We did a test stream earlier. Everything was fine. Hopefully this goes through. If you guys are hearing me loud and clear, just give me a quick shout out so I know that everything is coming through okay. You just never know when you're in a new setup how everything is going to take place. Are we good? Is everything coming through for everybody? I got some crazy ads popping up. All right, great. Good to see everybody tonight. I got I got some delay going on. All right, you guys can hear me. That's all that matters. So we are going to break down a little bit of last night's episode. Many of you heard or at least heard the spoiler stream that we did way earlier in the week. What was it God, it was almost a week ago that we did that. So, likewise, okay, good. A little bit of an echo? All right, well, we can deal with a little bit of an echo. It will change sooner rather than later. We're just getting the place a little bit more organized. So let's start out. Let's do what we do when we talk about the episode. 1 to 10. And let's start out with just a raw score for everybody. And then what we're going to do is break down a little bit of what you loved about it, what you thought was some opportunity. I saw some chats and some posts a little bit earlier. I think we're nitpicking a little bit, but we'll talk about that. Will the Bill says you missed our duet opportunity earlier. Will, what would have been a good duet? I need a follow-up to that. So we got some 9s. Kel says 999, great score. Ellis? Ellis, that might be the highest score you've ever given anything. A 9? Holy Toledo, man. Walking Dead Nerd, Alan Arthur, 10, a lot of 11s in here. So what, those of you that gave it 9 or higher, what did you really love about it? What was your, Najee's like, it's odd. The sound is louder. Okay, well, maybe I'm talking louder. Okay. Yeah, tune me down to about a 4. I should be good at about a 4. Gushy, hello. I'm doing well. Thank you, man. Gushy gave it a 10. Derek liked it a lot. I liked it a lot. Deidre gave it a 9. Negan one-liners. The training. So the one thing that I liked about it, and I didn't really get any. I watched Talking Dead last night, and there was no new revelations, and something was different. I thought it was pretty straightforward. But the one thing I did love about it is I love the chapters. The chapters for me just allow me to sort of see what the writer's thinking. It gives it a theme. I wish Fear the Walking Dead would use a little bit more chapters, because certainly some of their shows, they just don't, they get way out there and they don't reel it back in. So we started out with the training, the satellite kind of flying through the air. Let's fast forward and talk about the long-term implications of the satellite. When Eugene asked for 20 minutes, and you guys saw it kind of going through the air, and Angela Kang talked about it last night. It's like, hey, it'd be really cool if things start falling out of the sky. I like how she said, things start falling out of the sky. Yeah, maybe some other asteroids or something. Who knows what's going to end up happening. But Eugene wanted 20 minutes, then 10, and then Michonne gave him 5. So in 5 minutes, what do you think Eugenius is going to uncover? Let's get your best thoughts, your best funnels. What could he possibly learn? Well, radiation. But Amy, he did bounce back and say, hey, there's radiation all around us. But do you think that's going to be a long-term? Hey, radiation didn't kill Grace and her baby. Radio haven't killed Alicia yet. I'm sure Eugene will be okay. Audio chip. Now, the thing with a satellite is it would be Fear the Walking Dead coincidental if he was able to uncover something about the Commonwealth or something along those lines. So I think that it's going to be a little bit more of the past. All right. Hopefully everybody's good. All right, we got everybody. Useful tech they can use. So, Graylin, what kind of tech would you think they'd be able to uncover from a satellite? Anna Demo thinks there'd be more satellites falling. Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking is I think they could use that as a play of what caused the apocalypse. I don't know that they will. It's kind of like the PPP cards is they could roll that out if they want to, but I think it's always going to be in the back of our mind that there was a satellite. We got Will the Bill super chatting. Will the Bill says Daryl will be the star of the season, topped by Carol at the season finale. Certainly Daryl will be the star, and his interviews, I think, are leading in that direction as well. He got a lot of airtime last night on Talking Dead. Did anybody? Am I the only one that thought he got like at least 50% of the questions and the airtime? I mean, even to a point where Chris Hardwick, they had their own sidebar, and they were going back to like, hey, how was it when Rick Grimes was on the back? Andrew Lincoln was on the back of the motorcycle. They just kind of completely went out there. I thought the way they prioritized the conversation is Daryl got about half, Kaylee got about 20%, and then everybody else was just kind of split. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, I think, got the least amount of any type of conversation. I was a little disappointed that there wasn't a little bit more Negan chat. And I know comicbook.com came out today and they said, it's confirmed, there's going to be something that happens between Negan and Beta. Well, we kind of knew that. But they didn't say what happens. She didn't really, and she's not, but they didn't go down the road of saying, well, there's going to be an epic fight. That could just be Negan and Beta. Maybe Beta, Negan gets over on him and he gets recruited or gets brought into the group. So we start out the episode. We got June Smith in the house. What's up, Jay Smith? June says the whole show reminded me of the past before they were behind the gates of the community. I love them in the woods, and that's The Walking Dead. But it's tricky, right, June? I like them being out in the woods too, but being out in certain parts of the woods are those lines that they're not supposed to cross. So it's almost like twice as dark, twice as evil, because they need to expand, but they can't expand. And that's where Alpha is really choking them out. Is she has the control of where they go, what resources, and we know the way the show ended with that stare down. And if you saw the sneak peek for this coming up week, Beta is basically saying like, the enemy's getting near. And yeah, they get too close to something, she can just move the borders. But I agree with you. I think it had that walking, well, it is The Walking Dead, but it just gives us that vibe of how good the show is. And one, because the scripts are so well written. Najee Watt says, do you think that satellite falling in our group's location draws attention to that area from CRM, or others that can see it from another location. Najee, I think that is a tremendous point. That CRM, I think we could look at it from two ways. It really depends on Rick Grimes. They have to have an idea of who they are, what they can do, but because of Jadis and because of Heath and because of Rick. But I also think that for some reason, and I do feel that they've avoided that group. Maybe they don't need the people, or maybe Rick cut a deal with them to keep them alive or to keep them off limits. I feel like that's going to be a little bit of the story, Najee, that maybe Rick has bartered with them and said, look, I'll be your boy. I'll do what you guys need. Let these guys live in peace. And they just don't know what's going on with them from a whisper standpoint. Because I do think if Rick knew that the group was in danger, he would just go help them. Regardless, all bets are off. And I don't think Rick is a captive at this point in time. I think Rick is probably like a mercenary. But to your point, that satellite may mean that all bets are off. Because now, if the Commonwealth did cut a deal with Rick, they may say, you know what? We really need that technology. We know what we told you 7 years ago, but now it's a whole different story. There's something we can use. There's the bigger picture. So I would love to see that play out, Najee. But I think there is some, depending on how they do the Rick story. It's a great point. Drama King says, I'm hearing Beta was a country singer. Anyone else hear this? According to Walking Dead, or Fear the Walking Dead, he certainly was a singer. Because he was on the album cover. Najee, as a follow-up, says, would be nice if Rick became a soldier and could be sent to investigate. You know, it would. Wouldn't that be... I'm a little torn on this, though, because it depends on what point in the movie that happens. If it happens like in movie 2 or movie 3. But by that point, Michonne's already going to be gone. I mean, Michonne's going to be gone halfway through this. So, we're going to do the reactions to episode 1, but we didn't do the official follow-up, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Quick reactions to Maggie being back. I knew I said I was going to eat my words. Because I was a little angry about her leaving. I was a little angry about Comic-Con, of her not being at Comic-Con. But then I also made the statement that knowing me, I would accept her back. I mean, it's not my call. They're going to do what they do. I'm not that bent over it. But I do think, I don't know the show needs Maggie, but I can say the show could use Maggie. I agree. Walking Dead Nerd said, as long as her returning fits the story, I'm good. And Nerd, I think it's a couple things. One, I think it can fit the story, but I also think it can be tailored that there's so many other things that Maggie and Georgie and that group has had exposure to that I think can benefit the core franchise, the core show as well. I mean, Fears went through a lot in a short period of time. Now, maybe not all of it is good, but, they went through the Madison situation. They went through hot air balloons and making beers and and plane crashes and CRM, and they went through, the new villain that they're running into, Jenny's group. So there's a whole lot of stuff that Maggie and Georgie, I think, can bring back to the Walking Dead story. And part of that, I'm still interested to see if they're going to tie that into Michonne leaving. I think it would be a good trade-off, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Ecom says, hey, Kills, have a theory. Luke's new girlfriend could be a Whisperer, not the creepy Doc. I'm super excited for Maggie's return. She's a favorite of mine. Luke is getting a little flirtatious early on. So I think it's a bold prediction. I'm not going to disagree with you, but it's a bold prediction. And I'm going to touch back on the second half of that with Maggie in just a couple minutes. Another super chat. We got the mixologist. What's up, Jay Daly? Kills. I still think Maggie coming back is going to lead to Michonne exit. She has info on Rick, which leads to Michonne leaving. So Jason brings up a great point. This is something that we funneled. I don't know the exact stream we did it. Absolutely. Jason, how long ago did we talk about that? I think it was right after she left. I mean, we certainly, we've been wrong, right? I mean, we've been wrong before. But when we make those bold predictions, like Maggie coming back and almost like a revolving door, Maggie brings some information. Michonne gets really excited about it. She's ready to take her 2 kids to go look for Rick. Judith's going to put down the gauntlet and say, hell no, I ain't leaving. Judith stays behind. Now, I still would have a problem. The only small part of that story, Jason, I still think she has to take RJ. Judith is tough enough to fend for herself, and I'm gonna make my case again. And some of you might say, hey, if Maggie's back, she could leave RJ with Maggie. No, I don't think so. I really think that with the Whispers, well, Jack, I agree with that. So I'm not saying she can leave RJ. The thought is, if there's necessity and Michonne leaves to go find Rick, is she going to be able to bring RJ along with her? It's going to be too dangerous. But I would argue, yes, she needs to take RJ because Alpha's not going to be dead at that point. If the Whispers were dead and that was extinguished, then I could say, and I would have no problem with Michonne just saying, here, watch over RJ a little bit. Let me go over because you guys got this. But no, it's going to be too dangerous there. And I think if Michonne had her way, she would take Judith. But because Kaylee Fleming is awesome times 3, and she certainly breathed that Rick Grimes vibe back into the show, and she has such good chemistry as they talked about last night, there's no way she's leaving. No way. Lewis, RJ's, I don't think it's a question of whether he's a good actor or bad actor. I mean, he's a kid. I think he's good enough. It's a question of what his age is and how he relates to the story. I feel like RJ will be back on The Walking Dead. A grown-up version of RJ will be back on The Walking Dead. But I think it's important that Michonne takes RJ to meet his dad. And I also think that story with how many people loved the Brave Man story. They even talked about it last night on Talking Dead. How many? To me, that was my favorite part of the show. It was that slight little break in the middle. You got all this great story, great acting. Then you get this emotional, pulling at the heartstrings, and then you get back to the other stuff. Oh, no. I think I'm almost afraid to read Will's super chat here. He says, I will up my super chat to 500 if we leave Maggie out of the stream. Hope she's behind bars for a good reason. Coffee with Kills rant. All right. So, Will, I will tell you, I still, to this day, that Maggie rant that I did, it caught some flack, but it also gained a lot of attention. There's people that still comment to this day and will tell me, Kills, that rant of Maggie was classic. Like, you just nailed it. Honestly, I don't even remember. I think I was so mad. I was just kind of firing it. I think I hit a few nerves. But I did also say that it's going to be one of those things that they sort of what? Oh boy. Tommy just went beast mode on Jason Daly. What, Tommy, what you doing there? Jason, I'm pretty sure that was purely accidental. So we'll figure out what just happened there. I don't know what's going on. Well, Angel, we'll do some more rants for sure. We're going to get the opportunity to do some of those. I mean, even with The Walking Dead. I mean, a lot of people think because we're such fans of the show that we don't have some questions, and occasionally we do. And I do think the Maggie situation is it's dicey. I'm not even going to get started with it tonight. We got too many people that are going to react to this. I will say, Will, let me let it sink in a little bit. I'm open to a good Maggie return. Laura Croft style. I didn't like evil Maggie. I didn't like the way they wrote her off. I didn't like the contract negotiations. Not my business. She's got a right to, to certainly request more money and to negotiate that. But the widow guns ablazing really needs to mean something now. And see, Cindy, I think that's the way a lot of fans feel. So Cindy Spangler said, and I don't want to make it like a full-scale debate because, it's one of those things that can be a little bit divisive. However, I agree with a lot of what you said. Lauren had a cushy role in The Walking Dead, wanted more money, gets a show gets canceled, and she wants back on The Walking Dead. To a degree. She wasn't, it's not a question of, like I said, there's a lot of Maggie fans here, and I don't want to piss off the Maggie fans. I've always been fairly neutral with Lauren and the character of Maggie. But I will say, for what they were scripting her to do, she did not deserve Andrew Lincoln money. Because they just weren't writing her into that big of a role. Now, could they have? Absolutely. Could they have transitioned that? Absolutely. And I don't even know what she negotiated to come back. I mean, we don't know that she got a huge raise. She may just be coming back. Now, if they can get a compelling storyline and get her into the lead, what you do on the show dictates your pay. But I will also say that Norman Reedus wasn't getting Andrew Lincoln money either. But he was getting more than Lauren. But he was cast a little bit more. And I think it goes to... I'm not going to make this a Maggie rant. Let's just say at this point, the way she comes back is paramount to how the fans accept her coming back. We can forgive Negan. If we can forgive Negan, and if we can stick around long enough with a very dry Tara story until Tara got pretty decent again. But, you guys know how it goes. I mean, there's so many stars on The Walking Dead. Everybody can't be scripted as the lead and as the main. But let me ask this question, and then I'm going to table it till tomorrow night, because I do want to talk about it tomorrow night. Denai chose to leave. However, can Maggie fill some of the Michonne void? That's the question I have for you. Go ahead and answer. But tomorrow night, we will drill down and talk about that a little bit more. I'm not talking about can she replace her. I'm saying, can she help us transition to a degree with Michonne leaving? And I think the key word there is some. Not full-scale replacement, but if Maggie's storyline is compelling, yeah, it'll help distract from it. Ecom says, could Angela Kang's turnaround be part of Lauren Cohen's reason for coming back? Also, season 11 is booked already. Guys, such a good question. Ecom, that is such a good question on so many levels. I wished you to ask it tomorrow night, because I would absolutely, and that was going to be part of the theme for tomorrow. The short answer for me is yes. That the show is more intriguing now. The show has a lot of promise. The Maggie character probably, yeah, I don't think, okay. Let's be honest here. Did we need Maggie for the introduction of the Whispers? So we can kind of blame her, and we can give her all the flack for leaving the show, but let's be honest. We didn't really need her to be there. And in fact, it probably helped that there was disarray and the groups could not strike a deal. So I would argue in a strange sort of way that it helped her not being there to get the Whisper story arc jump-started. Because maybe Maggie wouldn't have given Lydia back. Maybe Maggie, I mean, maybe she would have led a little bit better. So, Ecom, I think your point is very well stated, is Angela's done a good job of turning the show around. And I'm not saying people were running toward the exits. I don't think Andrew Lincoln left because he didn't like the direction of the show. I believe I take what he said at face value. He said he wanted to spend more time with his family. And it's a lot easier for him to shoot a movie and to dictate the terms and when he can be there than to be committed to a year-round Walking Dead show. So if he says that's the reason, I believe him. I think she wants to do movies, and she's got a lot of things going on. I mean, she's very successful, but I still think she's going to be a part of the Walking Dead franchise. Will the Bill super chatting. Does anyone remember what I said? My word about the bet. First correct answer kills. PDL, spot for Friday. All right. Yes. Okay. I'm down with that, Will. So, I know what the bet was. Well, I don't know. I don't know if other people called on to what the super chat bet was. Exactly. Kel got it. That was bold. The problem is so Will said the bet would be a $500 super chat if we just left Maggie out of the streams. The problem with that, Will, if it was a short window, it'd be easy to do. It's going to be impossible to do. We couldn't even leave Tara out of the streams. As bad as Pete D wanted to leave her out. And I do think she's going to be such a central part of the story. It has to. And as much as I would love to make that $500 super chat, so I do remember. So Will and I had most of you know this, and actually, you know what? Everybody should be back. So while I got everybody here, and we're still getting some things ironed out with the streams, new location, so we'll get the connection issues. I know it's been a little sporadic tonight, but we'll get all that ironed out. But I do want to say we got a ton of people here tonight for this stream. I want to thank you guys for being here. Everybody's here. If you love The Walking Dead, if you like hanging out with us, if you like the open chats, the open debates, getting your thoughts, getting your opinions included in real time, live. A lot of people do videos. We like to do it live. And, we're going to make a lot of mistakes whenever we do it live. But I'm going to ask everybody, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up if you like what we do. So, Will and I had a Fear the Walking Dead bet. And it was a If I win, it was a $250 Will the Bill super chat. If Will wins, I have to meet him for dinner and a drink down at Nick and Norman's. And I lost the bet because I really thought that the writers on Fear were going to do something amazing and develop that story, which they did not. But I lost because June is still alive, which means that either in December or at the first of the year, I am going to go down to Nick and Norman's and I'm going to meet Will the Bill. So we're still working on it. My schedule is going to be really tight through November. But December, when Walking Dead goes on break, there's a possibility it could happen middle of December. If not, it'll be right after New Year's once we get through the holidays. So it will happen. But so Will the Bill has still offered to double his original super chat up to $500, which would be a huge, huge generous donation. But Will, this is not Fear the Walking Dead. So the writers on The Walking Dead, if they make a commitment to bring Maggie back, it's going to be good. I have a lot of trust. And they didn't choose to have her leave. She chose to leave, and they had to deal with the hand that they were given, which is why it was such a tacky send-off. Just, hey, let her disappear. And then they come in, it's like, hey, Jesus is like, hey, we got another letter from Maggie. And you got a star of the show, and all of a sudden she's just writing letters back and forth. But we're going to have a ton of stuff to talk about all during the week. I'll go through my notes a little bit. Jules, that was Luke's new girlfriend. I think somebody mentioned a little bit earlier. What'd you guys think about the training? And starting out, how coordinated they are, how much time they had to practice. And then the training got live. When a few of the walkers got through there, we saw how good they were. I think that was important. I think it was mild, because some people say, look, they can practice all they want, but how are they going to perform when it's serious? So the fact that they showed us practicing and then they showed it serious, I thought was incredible. This group is ready. So it shows that they're not pushovers any longer. So we got a couple super chats a couple minutes ago, and I do want to backtrack because there was a point that I was making with the Brave Man story, and several of you had chimed in and said, hey, it was great, really felt that. So I'm going to give away the first Kills coin of the week if you can tell me the significance of the Brave Man story. I think it has a key significance, and a lot of people are going to guess this, so we're going to reward the first person that names it. But to me, what the significance was to the Walking Dead franchise. Jen says to keep Rick's memory alive, Rick's legacy. I think it goes a little further than that. Keeping Dad alive. Anna says Rick will be back. Tommy says RJ knows his dad. You guys are getting close. His father was a hero. RJ knowing his dad. To honor him. And I got a big, big super chat here in a second. William, absolutely. This guy is way, way too generous for our channel. Tammy Heitzman. Got it. Movie transition. So, Kel, can you put her there? And I'm going to develop that in 1 second. But I want to get to Will's super chat because this is way, way too much. But he absolutely did say that. So, Will the Bill said no one got it. I said win or lose, I'd save kittens. Let's have a beer. So I picked group leader for Friday, Jennifer Lawson. And absolutely. So Jennifer, two things that we're going to bring out. Now, first thing I want to do, Will, is let's make sure, Jennifer Lawson, are you available Friday night for Play Dead Live? So we will be 8 o'clock. All right. Just want to make sure you're here. If you are, you're going to be involved in the scenario for Play Dead Live. Steph's like, save yourself. Oh, we saw Man Bun. Man Bun went beast mode last week on Amy. Poor Amy's just trying to kill an alligator, and Tommy, pushed her in the water. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but I liked it because it showed, for the first time, it showed that selfish human side. I had a couple people message me and said, you know what, that was a tough thing to do, but I might do that to someone in a zombie apocalypse. We're going to talk about that in 1 second because I want you guys to be on point. Let me finish up with Will the Bill Super Chat, though. So Jennifer Lawson, Kel, if you can add Jennifer, she has got a guaranteed spot for Play Dead Live. So Will also said that even if he lost the bet, he was going to make a donation. So those of you that followed me for a long time, you know I am very, very passionate about pet rescue, about saving kittens. I make donations to Humane Society. Food, if I had, I would love to adopt just like 20 of those cats. And you guys know that I got the 3 that I have right now from Humane Society. So, Will, thank you so much. That is amazing support. Your support for this channel has always been incredible and never taken for granted, always appreciated. Now I'm going to transition to Play Dead Live because Will also brought up getting Jen involved in Play Dead Live. Those of you just coming back for Walking Dead season, we have developed a real-time role-playing scenario game called Play Dead Live, where you're in there with a group, you make the decisions, and the scenarios change. We've had a ton of fun with it. We're developing a lot of spin-off concepts to it. We also have a select group of people, Will, Walking Dead nerd, Gina Crockett had talked to me a little bit earlier today. We have several people who are already Patreon sponsors, and they're in a Patreon category that they support Play Dead Live, so it means their Patreon contribution is going to develop the game. In turn, the Play Dead Live sponsorship, I'm going to set up a quarterly mail out, a quarterly box. So we're going to have branded material where they're branded dice, branded bags, custom shirts. So every quarter, and this is going to start in January, so the first one, it'll be January to March. The first one, I'm looking to mail out to the PDL sponsors in March. So they'll get some custom things that are going to be very unique. They could be the scripts that I use, the original handwritten scripts, before we go to print with them. But, just some unique things. But absolutely want to kind of reward those, and you'll see a little bit more with that as well. So I got another super chat up here. We got Tom Bug Ferreira says, also the Walker virus was totally made by aliens. Tom, I really thought you were going to bring Godzilla into that somehow. That might be too much of a stretch for me to follow. If The Walking Dead went Walking Dead and then turned sci-fi, that would be tough. Anything is possible. I mean, we watch zombies walk around and bite people and they get infected. So, who knows? But if something weird like that were the case, it would definitely be at the very end. And I do know Rick had the Taken by Alien spoof comic as well. So Will the Bill says, I do apologize. Tommy said it. He can play, but he has to be nice. So Will is like, we'll put together a team. All right. So we got two in. We got Tommy and we got Jennifer. So Kel, add them. So I do want to ask this, but I still want to get some more reactions in this stream. So, Man Bun, the thought process in betraying Amy. Walk us through a little bit of that. So Yeoman, if your comment is, I'm sorry, but this show's kind of ass now, or very bad show now, my question would be, and don't take this personally, why are you here? I mean, I'm not saying that people don't have a right to that opinion, but I would say that we're fans of the show. I think an episode could be bad, but I don't agree that the show's bad, and we talk about it every day. So this is kind of where we're at with it. I respect everybody's opinion. I respectfully disagree with your opinion. I don't think the show is ass. I think the show is incredible. So Amy is Amy super chat. Like, yeah, Tommy, I'd be interested to find that out as well. All right, we'll get back to Tommy. So here's what is. I was thinking that even if Amy died, she could win the game. So let me say this as well. In PvP, yes, you could die and your team could still win. But here's what I found interesting about Tommy's move. Now, his move was more blatant, and I wouldn't have done it because people are a resource, right? I want to keep as many people alive if I have a chance to win. I'm not going to push somebody in a pit of alligators. But I do like the fact that if you think that's the right move and you honestly go with it, you go with it. We're going to have a lot of different ways that people try to survive. I really thought that a couple of weeks ago when we did the scenario up on the ledge, I thought that someone would sacrifice someone else for the mountain lion. I was a little surprised that they didn't. So, hey, as long as people, if they play and they're true to character, it just goes to show you got to watch your back, right? So, June Smith. Here, I'll give an example. So, June Smith, you're playing Play Dead Live. And you and Will the Bill are side by side. And Rick Grimes walks up to you and says, hey, I only got room for one of you on my helicopter. Who's it going to be? So, June, my question is, would you do a little something to get rid of Will if he only had one seat on the helicopter? I'm just asking. Bye, Will. See, there's a scenario for everybody. Oh, great answer. She's like, nope. Good answer. Good answer. All right. Fair enough. Will the Bill, just want to have a beer with Group B. I did like that Group A had some really, really good sacrifice. And Will was trying to heal the Walking Dead nerd. He's like, can I save her? Can I save her? It's like, well, it doesn't matter. They still lost. It's it's a battle to the end. It's not like scenarios. This Friday will not be PvP. This Friday will be a scenario. So everybody can all work together again. And keep in mind, we get to PvP, it's gonna get a little bit crazy. All right, so hey, let's get back. We got about 10 more minutes. This is a longer reaction video. Usually our reaction videos are 30 minutes, but because we didn't do it last night, just want to get everybody involved tonight. Thoughts? I asked this question. We did the initial spoiler stream, and I'm going to go ahead and ask it again. From a character standpoint, which character took the biggest leap forward last night? There was one character that absolutely got escalated, I think, long term. And when we asked this from the initial spoiler, it wasn't quite unanimous, but it was a good portion of the group said Aaron. And June, no sacrilege here. I'm not comparing Aaron to Rick. I wouldn't do that to you. However, we did say, if you guys remember the video we did maybe a month ago, we were talking about Aaron, and we said, Aaron cannot be viewed as a badass and as a lead on the show until there's some serious transitions of his character. Last night, we saw that transition of his character. Aaron said, I'm tired of being nice. He's not going to be the nice guy anymore. And Jim, I agree with that. Rick's story arc, and this is a credit to the legend of Rick Grimes, not just Andrew Lincoln, because Andrew's not there to play the next stages of Rick. We're talking about the Rick from the comics and all the things that Rick brought to the table. Rick's impact on the Walking Dead universe is so good and so big that if Rick is not there, there's no one other character that can carry that weight. So Daryl gets a piece of it. Carol gets a piece of it. Negan will get a piece of it. Aaron will get a piece of it. Maggie will get a piece of it. I think all 5 of those characters get small little bits of Rick's story arc. And if that's not a compliment to the character and what the character means to the franchise, I don't know what else is. And that's why I thought it was absolutely paramount that they didn't kill Rick Grimes. When they announced that Rick was leaving the show, well, one, it's going to make a heck of a good movie, right? We're all going to go see that movie. But in addition to the movie, that hope, not just from the characters, because the characters think Rick's dead at this point, but from the audience knowing that there's still that he's out there somewhere, we're more receptive to his story continuing through other people. Writers did a brilliant job with the legacy of Rick Grimes, in my opinion. But I really liked Aaron taking a step forward. And someone brought this up. It's not a conspiracy theory. It was just a point that they made. But I want to publicly address it because I don't agree with the point. And if it was one of you, I don't mean anything offensive by it. But someone had said, honestly, Julia, it sounded like a Julia Muse debate. Julia has I don't mean this in a bad way, Julia just has a particular way of stating a case. And so, Julia, it might have been you. But one of the viewers had said, is it possible that some of the writers on Fear wrote the show so poorly that it escalated The Walking Dead. Was that you, Julia? I vaguely remember someone. Okay, it wasn't. Someone mentioned it. It was streaming. I saw it. I didn't write down who it was, but someone made that comment. And I don't think it's I think it's a fair debate. But Fear the Walking Dead is not good enough to do that. If you're Muhammad Ali, you can dance around the ring and you can toy with people. When you're Fear the Walking Dead and you're holding on by a string and The Walking Dead is already good, you don't make your show worse. So my professional opinion, exactly, Ellis. I don't think it needs that kind of help. In fact, I know it doesn't need that kind of help. And I think they were trying to be nice to the writers and saying, look, nobody could have written this season that poorly. So I think it was a little bit of helping them. But no, the season was written very poorly. And we need to let them know the season was garbage, so they don't write another garbage season and we have to sit through it. We love the show. We're hardcore fans. We're going to support the show, but they need to deliver. And if they walk around thinking that we're just going to continue to watch garbage year after year after year, they're wrong. So they need to clean that up. That's another reason why I'd say it wasn't intentional. But there's a stark contrast between what we saw last night. I wouldn't say last night was the best Walking Dead show ever. It was good. It wasn't my favorite. It had all the elements, but there are a couple more that were my favorite. But it was really, really good. Fear the Walking Dead has never, ever, ever had a single episode as good as last night's episode of The Walking Dead. And it wasn't even the best show ever. That's the standard that we're comparing it to. It's not the same show, but it is the same universe. So it is fair to juxtapose those two writers and showrunners and stories. It is fair, especially when they do crossovers. And I know everybody's got a favorite, but the more we talk about it, the more we debate it, the more we get it out there, the higher standard that they have to hold themselves to. So I know you guys won't because you're here every night, but to those of you watching for the first time or watching the playback, don't confuse when we talk about the show, because there are people out there, and there's people out there on YouTube that dog The Walking Dead. And they get paid to talk about it, but they still bash it over and over and over again. You know, just like I said to the gentleman that popped in a little bit ago and said, hey, the show's ass. I disagree with you. I don't think so, and I will never say it is. I won't even say Fear the Walking Dead is, because I think that's disrespectful to the Walking Dead universe and to the actors that go out there and try really, really hard. But I will say Fear the Walking Dead wrote a very bad story last season. And they need to fix it. And they need to write a better story. Because as fans, we demand it. We have a right to demand it. Because we're watching the commercials and we're supporting the franchise. So do better for Fear the Walking Dead. And we'll be there every single day. But to those of you tuned in tonight for Season 10, Episode 1, we are back. Thank you for being here. We have just hit 1 hour. Absolutely love being back. This is our Super Bowl. We will be here. How many people are excited that we're going to be talking about a Walking Dead topic tomorrow night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night during Freestyle Friday, Saturday morning, we're going to do Saturday morning spoilers, and Sunday night we're going to be doing reactions. So if you guys are going to be here with me, buckle up. We got 2 months worth of Walking Dead, then we get a small break. We're going to have some weeks where we do double streams. So we're going to give you enough Walking Dead stuff to talk about so you got one place to go, and it is right here. Bring your stories, bring your theories, bring your ideas, bring your chat, all of the above. We got a couple more super chats getting here. Catface Killer, I doubt Fear would jump into shark-infested water with a life vest on to save The Walking Dead. Who is enjoying a martini dry docked on a yacht? that is a lot. Thank you for that, Catface Killer. Also, Tyler Bradley. How often do you do scenarios in PvP? Would love to play. Also, give me Maggie or give me death. Tyler Bradley throwing down the gauntlet says, I am Maggie for life. So we do, we're trying to play test a Play Dead Live every Friday night. The PvP scenarios are a beast to put together. I found that out. Probably 6 to 12 hours of prep time to get those, which is a lot of time during the week. I had a great time doing it. I'm going to have to find a way to, I'd love to keep doing them every week. We may get to a point where we push them back once every 2 weeks because I just want the quality to be there so it doesn't feel rushed when we do it. And I certainly want to bring it and everybody to have a good time. So I'm going to close this stream tonight by asking, Team Maggie or no Team Maggie? Stake your claim right now. Tell me where you stand. Team Maggie or not Team Maggie? I won't remember all of them. But if Maggie does something phenomenal and you're like anti-Maggie, I'm going to remind you of it. Joey the Gator's Team Maggie. Julia Muse is not. Ron Burgundy is not. Michelle M. is not. Amy Ferrero is not. June Smith is. Steph the Cuervo Queen is. Najee says Team Maggie. Guitar Goddess, Team Maggie. Taps Ghost Lover, Team Maggie. So this doesn't seem like it's going to be a hard transition to really get people focused back on it. I stand behind my rant. I'm never going to retract my rant. But I did come back on the record and say, I'm pretty sure that's the way I felt at that moment. I still feel like I made strong cases. And with the data that I had at that point, I didn't think the show needed Maggie. With some of the transitions, and if they write her back in a good way, I'm receptive to Team Maggie. I'm team neutral right now. If they bring her back and they give her the kind of crap lines that they gave her before, I'm not going to be Team Maggie. How about that? I'm team neutral. I didn't give you guys that option. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for everything that you guys do. I had a blast talking about The Walking Dead. Love watching the show. Tomorrow night we will have a topic. It could be a debate topic. Could be Team Maggie. We'll see. We'll get your thoughts, get your opinion, get your ideas in here. Wednesday night, we're going to be back with our bold predictions. Thursday, we'll have another Walking Dead topic. Friday will be Freestyle Friday with a slight hint of Play Dead Live. So tune in Friday night. We will also have, once we do our stream on Freestyle Friday, I will be watching The Walking Dead early. And Saturday morning will now be our Saturday morning spoiler streams. So if you don't want to talk about the show that we watch, some of us are going to watch on Friday night, then do not tune in on Saturday morning. And the reason we're doing it like this is because some people have been, instead of tuning in to Freestyle Friday, Joey the Gator, Joey leaves to go watch Fear. Joey used to leave to watch Fear the Walking Dead of all things. So what we're going to do is we're going to do Freestyle Friday, 8 to 10, 10:30. That way, all of us can leave at the same time, go watch Walking Dead at night, and then Saturday morning, the people want to talk spoilers. Let's get together and talk spoilers. So we got Will the Bill says, come on, Kills, barbecue, and hoops. And Will is no Maggie. So, Will, let's get this first bet out of the way, and then once I make the trip to Nick and Norman's, then we'll have a follow-up bet. So, my last question, then we're going to close down the stream. Would you guys like to see a Kills Will Bet Part 2? Or no, it was overhyped and we did our rap songs and we talked about each other and all of those things and it just wore on you guys. So you guys want us to kind of hang it up and not have a sequel to the bet? Or would you guys like to see some sequel later on? All right. Okay. We'll come up with something. We're not going to rush into it, but we will get a sequel out to you guys. Thanks for everything that you guys do. I want to give a shout out to the Patreons. Top left-hand corner. Thank you so much to the patrons. You guys are amazing. You guys supported for a long, long time. As I mentioned, there is a link down below. So we added a brand new Play Dead Live sponsorship. Gives you a chance to get involved. You're going to get credits on Play Dead Live streams. When we start going to print with the modules, I'm going to give you special shout outs and acknowledgments in the back of the modules. It'll also set you up for a quarterly mailer that we're going to do starting, the clock will start ticking on that in January. I'll start doing the mailers out in March. But I want to come up with some printed stuff and some branded stuff and just kind of some unique things that you guys can get. But thank you so much also to the channel members. I'm going to update that. I'm still behind. You guys know I just went through a move. But we got a whole lot more 6-month channel members. That list is up on the screen. Wilson, Pete D, Jason Mix, Walking Dead Nerd, Villar, Julie McGuire, Michelle M. That list is about 20 people now. If you guys want to know who the long-term sponsors are, take your mouse and scroll over the badge on the green team, and it'll show you exactly how long they've been here. But we're going to get that updated too. A shout-out to all the super chatters. Thank you so much for your contributions, especially Will bringing it tonight. Thank you so much for that contribution. The moderators, Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kells, always on point. They do an excellent job, not just here, but also on Play Dead Live, really keeping up with everything. And one super big shout-out for each and every one of you. Do me a favor. Can you guys all type 999 right now? I want to get as many shout-outs. I'm going to miss a few people. I'm going to do this as quick as I can. If I miss you, I'll try to get you included in tomorrow. But since we started 10 seasons, let's get some shout-outs to everybody in the stream. Joey the Gator, thanks for being here. Samantha Coombs, Roxanne Dunlap, thank you. Jack Carr, Dead Shred 65, Gina Crockett, Najee Watts, Jan Stepp, Ron Burgundy Moore, Casey Burkett, Taps Ghost Lover, Michelle M., Ellis Smith Jr., Chris Robinson, have a good night, Amy Ferrero, Jason 90, Viola McGowan, the Marvelous One, D-Train in the house, what's up? Rolex, thank you so much, Rolex, everything that you do as well. Rolex absolutely brings it, and he's got a brand new character in Play Dead Live called the Timekeeper. That was his idea, by the way, not my idea, something we talked about offline, but I thought it was brilliant. Thank you so much. Jen Lawson, thank you. J Law, appreciate that. Mark Trotter, appreciate you being here. Matt Burkett, Deborah Farrell, good to see you. Absolutely. Walking Dead Nerd, always a pleasure. Marcia Derbyshire, appreciate you being here. All right, everybody. If I missed you, I will get you in the next stream. And anything you guys would like to see, shoot me a message, and we'll try to do better next time. I'll see you all at 9:30 tomorrow night. Peace.